Video opens with evocative, high-quality historical footage of soldiers preparing, ships crossing the channel, and planes in the sky. Somber, thoughtful music plays in the background. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're stepping back in time, back 80 years to a moment that would define the 20th century. We're going to talk about a day of immense courage, sacrifice, and strategic brilliance. We're talking about D-Day and the Battle of Normandy. Imagine the scene. It's the early hours of June 6, 1944. For years, most of Europe has been under the shadow of a seemingly unstoppable force. But on this morning, the tide is about to turn. The largest amphibious invasion in history, codenamed Operation Overlord, is about to begin. It's more than just a battle. It's the beginning of the end of World War II in Europe. The planning for this day was monumental, a logistical puzzle of epic proportions. Millions of personnel, thousands of ships and aircraft, and mountains of supplies were gathered in Britain, all under a blanket of secrecy. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the supreme Allied commander, held the weight of the world on his shoulders. He even penned a letter accepting full responsibility in case the invasion failed. That's the kind of pressure they were under. The first to go were the paratroopers. In the dead of night, over 24,000 American, British, and Canadian airborne troops dropped behind enemy lines. Their mission was chaos. They were tasked with securing key bridges, destroying artillery batteries, and sowing confusion among the German defenders to protect the forces who would soon be landing on the beaches. Imagine jumping out of a plane into complete darkness, with enemy fire all around you, knowing the success of the entire invasion could rest on your shoulders. These were incredibly brave individuals. Then, as dawn broke, the main event began. A fleet of nearly 7,000 vessels, battleships, destroyers, landing craft, approached the coast of Normandy. The naval bombardment was ferocious, a thunderous roar meant to soften up the German defenses along a 50-mile stretch of coastline. This coastline was divided into 5 sectors. The Americans were assigned to Utah and Omaha beaches. The British landed at Gold and Sword, and the Canadians at Juno. Each beach presented its own unique set of brutal challenges. Utah Beach, on the western flank, went relatively well. Thanks to the paratroopers of the 101st Airborne and a lucky navigational error that brought the landing craft to a less defended area, the U.S. 4th Infantry Division managed to get ashore with comparatively fewer casualties and quickly pushed inland. But then there was Omaha. Omaha Beach became a synonym for the horrors of that day. It was a death trap. The pre-landing bombardment had been largely ineffective, and the seasoned German 352nd Infantry Division was waiting. As the ramps of the landing craft dropped, American soldiers were met with a storm of machine gun fire, mortars, and artillery. The first waves were cut down, and the beach became a chaotic scene of survival. Yet, amidst this terror, stories of incredible heroism emerged. Junior officers and NCOs took charge, rallying small groups of terrified but determined men. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to breach the defenses. Men like Brigadier General Norman who famously told his men on the beach, "There are 2 kinds of people who are staying on this beach. Those who are dead and those who are going to die. Now let's get the hell out of here." It was this spirit, this refusal to give up, that eventually won the day at Omaha. Meanwhile, at Gold, Sword, and Juno beaches, the British and Canadian forces also faced fierce resistance. At Juno, the Canadians had to overcome strong fortifications and a seawall, suffering heavy casualties in the initial assault, but pushing further inland than any other Allied force on D-Day. The British at Gold and Sword fought their way off the beaches and began the tough fight to link up the landing zones and press towards the crucial city of Cannes. By the end of June 6th, the Allies had done the impossible. They had breached Hitler's Atlantic Wall. Over 156,000 troops were on the ground in Normandy, but the cost was immense. D-Day alone saw an estimated 10,000 Allied casualties, with more than 4,400 confirmed dead. These weren't just numbers. They were sons, brothers, and fathers. And D-Day was just the beginning. It secured the beachhead, the vital toehold in France. What followed was the Battle of Normandy, a grueling, 2.5-month campaign of attrition. The landscape itself became a weapon. The dense hedgerows of the Normandy countryside, known as the bocage, were perfect for ambushes and defense. Each field had to be taken in bloody, close-quarters combat. The fighting was relentless. Cities like Caen and Cherbourg, crucial for their strategic value, were reduced to rubble in the intense struggle. The Allies had air superiority, but on the ground, the German resistance was fanatical and skillful. Operations like Goodwood and Cobra were launched, massive armored thrusts designed to break out of the Normandy pocket. The breakthrough finally came in late July with Operation Cobra. American forces, led by General Omar Bradley and George S. Patton, punched a hole in the German lines, allowing armored divisions to pour into the French interior. This led to the formation of the Falaise Pocket, where the Allies managed to encircle and destroy a huge portion of the German 7th Army in August 1944. It was a decisive blow. By the end of August, the Battle of Normandy was over. Paris was liberated on August 25th, and the path to Germany was now open. The battle had been won, but at a staggering cost. The Allies suffered over 226,000 casualties. The German losses were even higher, and an estimated 20,000 French civilians lost their lives in the crossfire. So why do we remember D-Day and the Battle of Normandy 80 years later? We remember it not just as a great military victory, but as a testament to the human spirit. It was a multinational effort, a coalition of people united against tyranny. It was a day when ordinary individuals, facing unimaginable fear, did extraordinary things. Their legacy is the freedom that was reborn in Europe. It reminds us that peace is precious and often comes at a profound price. As we go about our daily lives, it is important to take a moment to reflect on the sacrifices that were made on those beaches and in those fields so long ago. They fought for a future they would not get to see, a future that became our present. Thank you so much for joining me to remember this pivotal moment in history. If you found this video meaningful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more stories from our past. It really helps us continue to create this content. And please, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the memory of these heroes alive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.